Hi everyone, I'm back today with another stitch tutorial for you. Today we are looking at the Lazy Daisy stitch. You will find this used in lots of botanical and floral patterns, so let's have a look at stitching it together. So I've got my hoop ready and I have stitched a stem in backstitch, and now I've got 3 strands of green thread and I'm just pushing my needle up through the fabric at the top of my stitching. Now pulling the thread all the way through, I'm just going to poke the needle back down through the hole. I'm not pulling the thread all the way through, instead I'm going to create a loop by pushing my needle up through the fabric. So pull that on through, there we go, and then pull your thread. Now I'm going to anchor it in place with a little stitch. So I'm just going to pull my thread all the way through. There we go, and then that is our first Lazy Daisy stitch. Now I'm going to stitch a few more just to show you how you can vary the size, the length to fit your design. So again, I'm pushing my needle up through the fabric and I'm going to push it down through the same hole, pulling that thread through. Now I'm going to work out how big I want my loop and I'm just going to push my needle back up through. So then gently pulling that thread through and again just anchoring it in place with a stitch. There we go, so that is our second Lazy Daisy stitch. So it's similar in length to the first one, but the stitch itself is a little bit wider because I've not pulled the thread through quite as firmly. For this next one, I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's positioned a little bit more loosely. So again, I've pulled my thread through and I'm just going to anchor this in place with a stitch. And I'm not going to pull it in as tight, so it's got a bit more of a looser look about it. So then pushing my needle back down through. There we go, that's all secured. So you can see that's a slightly looser version of the Lazy Daisy stitch. So I'm going to show you another one of my favourite way to use this stitch, and it's just creating that nice slim leaf. The reason that I'm showing you different ways to stitch this is because you can tailor it to your design. If you want kind of like a slightly sharper leaf effect, then you can go a little bit tighter with the thread, or you can go a little bit looser if you want to create petals. There we go, so that's another one. So this stitch is actually one of my least favourite stitches. I found it quite frustrating when I was first learning embroidery, and then I sort of got to know it a little bit better. But even now I don't use it in many of my own designs. I was stitching up another pattern the other day and I suddenly realised I haven't done a tutorial on this one. So if you are finding it a little bit tricky at first, practice makes perfect, just keep going. So as I mentioned, you'll find this stitch used in quite a few floral and botanical designs. You can also use it to create really nice pretty borders as well. It just adds some really lovely detail. It can also be used on its own, so rather than attaching it to a stem like I have, you can use singular stitches for things like raindrops or other details. So here are our finished Lazy Daisy stitches. Will you be giving this one a go? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Happy stitching!